Hello friends, welcome back to another video of Automation Test Insider. So today I'm going to talk about an important topic, that is use case. So in this particular video I'm going to talk about what do you mean by use case, what is the need of use case, what are the different types of use cases, and at last we'll discuss about what is the difference between use case and test case. So let's get started with the definition of use case. What do you mean by use case? So it describes the system behavior or system functionality as per end user, or you can say end user perspective. So use case is nothing but the system behavior, how the system behaves as per the end user. So basically it describes the system behavior as per end user perspective. Now the question arises here is, why do we need use cases, right? So whenever we work on any project, so whenever we get the project, so what is the first criteria? So the first thing is get the requirement from the client. Get the requirement from the client whenever we start the project, and those requirements will be converted into different business requirement documents. Let's say we have business requirement document, we have BRS, business requirement specification, or FRS. So these are the different documents prepared by business users or business analyst, right? So we'll write down all the requirements over here. Now the use cases will be derived from these documents. So these are the detailed documentation, right? All the requirements are captured in these documents, but the system behavior is not described over here. So what business users will do, they will create the use cases, how the system behaves exactly as per end user, how they are going to use how our client is going to use the system. So they prepare the use cases, which is derived from these documents, and this is prepared by business user or business analyst, or you can say business analyst, right? And from here use cases are delivered to or transferred to development team. Use cases will be given to development team and testing team. So developer will uses those use cases and design their system and implemented the changes or implemented the requirements. So this is how they will do based on the use cases, because the system behaviors are defined or given in the use cases. Similarly, testers will use those use cases to derive the test cases, detail level test cases from those use cases, business use cases. So this is the flow, guys, and let's talk more about use cases. So it explains the functionality or requirement. The customer requirement or project requirement can be specified in the use cases. Use case is representation of actions which describes the behavior of the system to do a particular task and accomplish the goal. So what is the need of use case? To get the certain goal, right? To perform some task and to achieve the goal. So that is the purpose of use cases. It is a technique that helps to identify the test cases, and as I have explained earlier, from use cases we can derive our test cases. It is a description of particular use of the system by a user, and there are few things which are important in use cases. So the first thing is actor. Who is going to use the system? Actor. The second thing is system. So actor will use the system to derive the use cases, and third is use cases. So these are the three I would say the participants: actor, system, and use cases. So actor will participate in the system to derive the use cases, business use cases. So let's talk about what are the different types of use cases. So we have two types of use cases: diagrammatic use cases. The functionality is explained in the diagrammatic format, and the second one is technical use cases. It explains the functionality or requirement in technical way. Let's talk about them in detail. So what is diagrammatic use cases? So a use case diagram is graphical depiction of users possible interaction with the system, and the use cases are represented by either circles or ovals. There are different use cases. So actor can be represented like this, and if you remember guys, probably you might have aware of UML, that is a unified modeling technique, unified modeling language in fact. So using that we create the flow diagram for the use cases. So there are different use cases like sequence diagram, it explains the flow or path. We have activity diagram, it explains the task performance, how we are going to perform using the activity diagram. And state transaction diagram, it shows the functionality or state changing from one state to another state. So these are the different ways to create the use cases using diagrammatic use cases. Let me give you an example of diagrammatic use cases. So let's say let's talk about student management system. Student management system. So here we have an actor which is student, and here we have another actor called teacher. Now what are the different use cases in this student management system? So the first use case we can represent using oval. So check attendance. Check attendance is one use case. Another use case could be check timetable. This is another use case. Another could be check timetable, attendance, or we can say score, test score. What is your test score? So this is another use case. Another use case could be update attendance. Another use case, update score. This is another use case. So we have different use cases in this student management system. Check attendance, which is which will be used by both student and teacher, right guys? And check timetable, which will be used by both student and teacher. Check timetable. We have check test score, so which will be used by both student and teacher again. Now we have another use case which is update attendance. So who is going to update the attendance? Which is done by teacher. And the last one is update score, which will be done by again teacher. So these are the different use cases, and we have two actors, student and teacher, and this is the whole student management system, which will be represented using rectangle, right? So this is complete student management system, guys, an example of use cases. So these are the different use cases we have represented using oval shape. Now let's move on another thing, technical use cases. So for the technical use cases, below are the details. So we should have some details. We used to create some format of the technical use cases. So use case ID should be there, a unique number of every case. Use case name should be given. Goal of the use case, objective requirement, importance. So certain levels we give, like importance level, high, medium, low. Frequency of use, how frequently the requirement is used. Actors, the user who has permission to access the requirement. And we have precondition, condition to be satisfied to work with the requirement, just like we used to give in test cases. Description, business functionality. Post condition, output or result. Assumption, if any assumption or implicit requirement is given. and approval of use cases. So this is, and another one is changes in requirement. Again, one more, if any changes are there in the requirement. So this is detail level use cases, which is nothing but the technical use case. Now let's talk about the difference between use case and test case. So use case is a representation of actions which describes the behavior of a system to do a particular task, to achieve a goal, or to perform certain tasks to achieve desired output, is nothing but the use case, which we have discussed earlier. Test case contains the test data, set of instructions to follow, and results of the following instructions. So already we have spoken about many a times about the test cases earlier. I have created the test case template as well, like what are the, we have expected result, actual result, fail pass criteria, test data, everything we have in everything we have as part of test cases. The second difference is use cases are prepared on requirements from BRAs, as we have discussed. Test cases are prepared on use cases. So ideally, if you see the process, so use cases should be prepared from the business requirement documents like BRAs or FRD or FRAs, and test cases are prepared on use cases. The use cases cannot be implemented, which implies that it is only designed, whereas the test cases is designed and later we implemented them. Later we will execute the test cases as well. So basically use cases are executed by business users only, and test cases are executed by testers. So generally, if you see the use cases just for design purpose, right, for designing purpose, to later we use those use cases to implement, to design the system as per the development perspective, and design the test cases as per testers perspective. The objective of use case is to get a certain output after the set of operations. The objective of test case is to ensure the system is working fine for each given instruction and yields the required result. The use case is graphic representation of client requirements. This is another simple definition of use case. The use case is graphic representation of client requirements. The test case is only documented in an Excel sheet. It is working as following the step-by-step function ability of the software. It is working with the help of testers to validate the software. Business user executes the use cases. Testers executes the test cases. End result is important in all steps are to be executed together in use case. All steps are important and may have a separate result. So this is the difference between use case and test case, guys. And still, if you have any questions related to use cases, please write down your questions in the comment box of this video. Please subscribe this channel, like and share this video, and comment as I have explained earlier if you have any doubts. And thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye bye.